Tonight on Podcast Them Down, Bruce Dickinson makes the fiery death of 46 people only the second most horrible thing about the R-101 airship disaster.
Podcast Them Down!
Hail, Metal Nation! It is we, Tim, Matt, and Doug. This is Podcast Them Down. This is the final episode of Iron Maiden 2023. Yes, I know it's June. Fuck you. That's what I say to you.
Christ.
And we have gone through the entire studio discography of Iron Maiden, save for two albums, the two longest albums, the two albums that are just hell from here to eternity. The Book of Souls and I have to say this right. Senjutsu.
Senjutsu.
So, do we need to recap anything? No, we don't, because we need to get through the Book of Souls right now so we can talk about the balloon song.
Yes, yeah. We really do.
All right, well, let's you know, we've been loosely applying this structure to how we've been going through these. So let's just get this done. But first, subscribe. And if you disagree, it's You're Wrong at podcastthemdown.com, where you can write us and we will tell you why you're wrong. So there's
and we cherish engagement. Like I think a lot of people might not think that by sending in your opinion to You're Wrong at podcastthemdown.com, that somehow we'll be mocking you. But no, we will just judge you respectfully.
You're not admitting anything. It's just like showing up to traffic court.
The only thing you're admitting by not writing to us is that you agree with us. We are infallible here. Okay.
Silence is assent.
That's right. So, So I've been talking about all the stuff they've done between albums, but guess what? There's nothing to talk about. They toured for the previous album, then they recorded the next album, then they toured for it, then they recorded the next one, then they toured for it. Okay, there you go. That's all the background for Book of Souls and Senjutsu, with the exception of COVID, pandemic. So the tour got postponed and the album release got postponed. There you go.
Hey, you know what? Something that I found odd is, try as I might, I could not find a 2015 remastered edition of the Book of Souls. And I had been listening to so many of the 2015 remastered editions, I was quite disappointed. Now I want to know why the fuck they just sort of slacked off.
All right, so the Book of Souls was released on September 4th, 2015.
Let's
start where we have been starting the artwork. So they brought back the original logo with the extra pointy M, N, and R.
Good move.
Yeah, they had used it on a couple single artwork covers for the last album, I believe. So this it's a very simple cover. It's Eddie as a Mayan warrior, and it says the Book of Souls in an insulting Mayan font, except the Mayans did not have Book of Souls.
And how would you know? You know, I, for the longest time, until I read the Wikipedia page about the Book of Souls, I was pretty sure that Eddie was dressed as Dhalsim from the Street Fighter 2
I think you're right.
Like series.
Yeah, the stretchy guy, right?
Yeah. What about this says? I guess if you're really acquainted with Maya face art, but there's nothing Maya about this in any way.
Yeah, well, I seem to remember, because the artist who did this is the guy who's done most of Judas Priest art for the last decade and a half, or since '87. So it's an upgrade on the last couple guys for Maiden. But I think he didn't really. I think he said he didn't really want to lean into Mayan stereotypes, as which of course is what Maiden's doing. So you can't get too far.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, I think there is a way to not lean into Mayan stereotypes while you can still create a work of art that is comprehensible to its concept? You know, I just see a shirtless gentleman with white paint on his face.
Oh.
See, in the old days, that would have been the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
now you're talking.
Hey, we want to do this power slave Egyptian theme, but let's not lean into Egyptian stereotypes.
For
It's
our
fucking
audio
Iron Maiden.
For our audio listeners, who is most of the audience, there's a what is that release you're holding? It's not like a CD. It's like
this is the deluxe CD release.
Yeah, so it looks like a DVD, but it has like a book in it of souls.
Yeah, it's
the book of.
It's got like a print, like a traditional bound.
Yeah,
that is
and real
something.
art.
Yeah, and it has a lot more interesting art inside with Eddie like doing stuff instead of staring ahead angrily. I've read in two different places. One, maybe I'm getting this confused, but apparently the tribal markings are generic and made up, but they also had some British Mayan scholar do some research for it to make sure it's accurate, but he's British, so anyway.
Yeah, they paid for Japanese calligraphy translation, not whatever term I mean, for the next album, which I can't say right.
And luckily, they didn't lean into any cultural stereotypes on that album cover.
Okay.
No, it's one of the.
Oh,
right,
we're talking about the Book of Souls.
Track list.
We opened with a song from a Bruce Dickinson solo record that was never released, called "If Eternity Should Fail,"
and it starts with the worst keyboard performance and composition of all of Maiden's career, all of it, past and future. It is so bad. It's like what you do when you go to Guitar Center. It's like, oh, I'm going to play the keyboard, and oh, there's a pitch thing over here, and he also flubs a note. How did this get on the fucking album? And before you say anything, Steve Harris is credited as the keyboardist for everything except for the final track, the balloon song, which we'll get to.
Apparently Steve Harris was aware of this song Bruce Dickinson was writing for a concept album. It's like, "Hi, Bruce.
Hi."
What about time never ending or time failing? We need that.
And although as much as I dislike the song, I do appreciate the warning that this will seem like longer than eternity. So if anything, I do appreciate the service that this song is doing.
At 8.5,
how they keep in the character at the end that was meant to be a character from the record, like Mr. Abomination or whoever. It doesn't connect to anything.
Okay, so at 8.5 minutes, this is one of the medium-length songs on this album. This, again, I said it last episode, they are completely unable to edit themselves, keep things interesting. They just repeat the same, like, half-baked ideas too many times, and this Book of Souls might be like the extrapolation of that.
Yes.
So if Eternity Should Fall, so this is solely written by Bruce Dickinson, who's been apparently hanging out with Steve Harris too much, because they do the chorus. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8.5 times in an 8-minute song. That's once a minute.
It's once a minute.
And Speed of Light, if you don't mind me jumping ahead, 5-minute song. They do the chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times also. It's a 5-minute song, and half of it is a chorus. And at least it's more than the song title.
Well, you see, this is why I think it's not quite the same problem. I think in other Iron Maiden albums of this era, the problem was a problem of editing. But I actually don't think this album has a problem with editing. This album has a problem with finished songs. Almost every song, including the balloon song, has a pretty well constructed middle. But they have no idea how to start the song and certainly no idea how to end the song.
Are you saying? So speaking of ending the song, so the character you mentioned.
Oh, Necropolis, not Mr. Abomination. I apologize, Maiden fans.
So they had some kind of voice changer effect thing, and then, after you're done messing with the keyboards at Guitar Center, you go over and play with you play with the pedal boards, and you find an obnoxious setting on the delay, and you're like, this sounds good. Well, they put that on the vocals, and it goes, "Good day, my name is Necropolis." First of all, a guy named Necropolis will not be saying good day to you. He wouldn't be polite. His name is Necropolis. And by the way, Necropolis is the name of a city, not a person. Everything about this is dumb, and it gets worse from here. How is this possible? This album is just punishment.
Of this album, this song, pretty okay.
Yeah. For the record, I have written here the best opener since '88. Which I was wrong about because we established the Final Frontier in Satellite 15 is fantastic, it's and this amazing. Is just a little bit behind. Okay, so I love this song.
So to amend your statement, this is the best opener since the last one. That's not impressive.
I will wholeheartedly agree that this is the best opener since the last one.
So it's the second best opener since 1988.
And the most surprising thing about this song is that they hadn't already written a song called "If Eternity Should Fail." Like, I had to look that up because I didn't believe it.
like you thought it was an auto cover.
Yeah, like "From Here to Eternity." They have like 10 Eternity songs.
It's like when Danzig did like Mother 92.
Exactly. All right, then Speed of Light, which I actually like. I think this is their best because we've been giving these inoffensive commercial songs a pass, and I'm going to continue to do that. I think this is the best.
I'm not. This song is record. 2 minutes stretched into 5 minutes.
Yeah, this song is not great, Chug. This song is it's you're right, Tim. This is a 2-minute idea. They don't know how to start it. They don't know how to finish it. They don't know how to commercialize it. It's just a bunch of noise and splash cymbals. There's no groove here. I honestly don't even know. If you had told me that this was an AI-generated track, I would believe you. It's just
it reads like one, the lyrics.
It's just
I'll say a mass for you and wave, shooting plasma from my grave.
Yeah.
Event horizon lost in space, running in a human race. That's like everything Maiden. That's like one-line summaries of Maiden's 4 themes.
Yeah.
All right, next. The Great Unknown.
This has Adrian Smith's name on it, but it's a shitty, boring pseudo ballad, and I have nothing to say about it.
I think it just exists, like it's there. I don't care. There's nothing exceptional about that song. Now, next track, Red and the Black, the only song solely credited to Steve Harris. It comes in at a nice, slim 13 and a half minutes, and it starts with a wanking bass intro. So it's everything that's wrong with Steve Harris' songwriting.
What instrument does Steve Harris play again?
Lead bass.
Oh, that's weird.
So help me God, I don't hate this song.
Tim, I think this song is the modern day Anesthesia Pulling Teeth. It's a bassist's classic.
It's the Angel and the Gambler with that line not said 20. I mean, it probably has a different line said 27
They
times.
say the red and the black quite a few times, but I think they actually say, I'm pretty sure they say the red and the black fewer times than they say speed of light in Speed of Light.
I was hoping that this was a retelling of Stendhal's historical psychological novel, but it is not.
And
I assumed it was about soccer hooliganism, but then I looked it up.
I know Mike, if he's listening, he really wants to say it's like that song "Red for Fire, Black for Death." No, it's not.
It's not. Sorry. It's just this is okay. The red and the black is endemic of something that I find very awful about this album, which is what I call like it's not an arpeggio, but there's just like this going up and down the scales that keeps happening. It's like, so this lyric, like this vocal line, this lick is just like da 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 da. It's just like incessant, uncreative songwriting.
Yeah.
and it's just like, what the fuck? Why are you making?
That's a ding.
Why are you making your longest how do you make your longest album to date and yet have no ideas?
They've been going off no ideas since 1980,
but
1990. How about that?
We've heard two albums ago they made a fairly okay record.
Go back to and listen to what I said. Everything goes on too long. Maybe they had a few more ideas then, but they have even fewer ideas and stretched them out to be the longest album.
Like, okay.
I think they were trying too hard. They should have done it checked out like they did the Final Frontier, which worked out pretty well.
The whoa part of this song, like, if you told me the song was from 2004 or 1999, I'm like, okay, this album was released when Donald Trump was a declared candidate for the presidency of the United States. That's how recent in relativistic time this album is. There's no reason anyone should be going whoa on any record, let alone an Iron Maiden record.
Oh yeah. Bruce Dickinson recovering from throat cancer. I was so fired up about Speed of Light, we blew right past it. The scream at the beginning of Speed of Light is just awful.
Oh, I love that scream.
It's so bad.
Of course
I feel like he hadn't healed all the way. And there are 7 people involved in the making of this album. There's the band and the producer and probably, there's an engineer and there's there's all those people and no one goes, hey, Bruce, that scream was dog shit. Maybe do another take.
Do another take. I feel like it's like when Grandpa starts singing and like everyone's afraid, just let Grandpa sing. Okay.
Next track. Thankfully, only 6 minutes. When the river runs deep.
A refreshing draft of water.
Wait, wasn't there like a wild when the wild wind blows or something? Recently, yeah.
Like the last album's last track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like an X Factor song just plopped on here.
It is, yeah.
And it's got that, I don't remember what it sounds. The opening sounds a lot like one of the Somewhere in Time songs. Which will be the first of 2 times that happens.
Yep. Oh, yep.
It's just a leftover song. It's like, well, we could play this one that never worked. And they're like, right.
And again, it's got Adrian Smith's name on it, and but I can't give it a pass. It's just nothing.
Yeah, I think it's just meandering and meh. It doesn't cause me to get angry like
some other songs.
You should hydrate your voice, Matt, because I feel like you're gonna lose your voice when we get to the end of the second disc.
Luckily, I have some Jameson here, so I'm sure that'll make my voice better.
All right. Next, The Book of Souls, title track, 10.5 minutes. I do have to point out all these song lengths because it becomes especially important for the next album.
Yeah. Again, it doesn't know how to start. We just get like a weird
Acoustic
interlude song. The Book of Souls itself isn't that bad of a song comparatively. Like it meanders.
Doesn't it not even have any tempo changes? It just sort of, as it's slow, then it's mid-pace.
Yeah.
Doesn't get fast at all. It never sounds different once you hit like the 2-minute mark, if I recall.
It seems like an eternal intro. Like when I listened to this song, I kept thinking, all right, but it's gonna kick in any second now. It's like minute 3, minute 4, minute 6. I'm like, this is it. This is all that it does. And it's just like it's very just it plods.
Let's
Got just the 2 writers you want to see, Yannick Gers and Steve Harris.
The dream team.
All right, and let's look at some of these lyrics. So again, this is about like the Mayan Book of Souls, which doesn't exist. Prophecy of sky gods, the sun and moon, passing of old ways will come true soon. Falling of ages, forest of kings, the lost Book of Souls, destruction begins. Ascending the throne wearing feathers and shells, he brought back their lives from the void. Alien invasion brings nothing but death. Mass exodus and plant life destroyed. You know what? I just figured this out.
Wait.
This is based on Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
And the yes.
Yeah, the shitty alien alien one. And then he said it's Mayan just to give it more credibility than being inspired by the worst Indiana Jones movie to date.
So far.
Right.
Oh, we have to do a podcast and
you're watching this.
Right.
We have to do a podcast
About
and
at the time of writing the album. What?
Yeah.
We have to do a podcast about what?
Yeah.
About the new Indiana Jones movie.
New meaning the 5th one.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
Doug's gonna tell us how the Phantom could kick Indy's ass in any of his 5 movies.
I can't wait to see old man Harrison Ford be even older than the last one.
What was that? Part-time. if you watch the Red Letter Media review of the Crystal Skulls, the Mr. Plinkett review, go check that out.
He did one.
You'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I got to rewatch that.
Part-time.
All right.
I can't believe that. I have a story about that movie off air.
All right, so that wraps up the first disc, and then they've been like in all the press for this album. They talk about the balloon song, and
they do.
Your curiosity of the balloon song is probably the only thing that compels you to put in disc 2, because if if you can listen to all of disc 1 and then be like willing to put in disc 2, you've been fucking duped. So,
do you think many people just skip to disc 1? I mean, this is still 2015 seems a little late to have a CD focused organization of your record, now that I think about it. But do you think people just skipped ahead, or do you think they just plodded through these first 6 tracks?
Good question. Well, I don't know. I would have skipped straight to disc 2 when I heard that terrible synth keyboard bend.
I mean, you've already hit album length at the end of disc 1.
Yes,
I would have noticed there's a disc 2.
49 minutes, 58 seconds. So,
I think I did some math the other day. This is 3 times as long as Iron Maiden.
Wow. So when I had to go and put Book of Souls on my Walkman to listen to it, because I won't have it in my music library, right?
Right.
So when I put it on, I didn't put the disc numbers in there by accident. So what it did was it took disc 1 and disc 2 and just kind of did this with the tracks. So it interlaced.
I hate that. I hate that.
Well, Doug knows where. I think Doug has predicted where I'm going with this. So I turned on disc 2. So when I hit play, track 1 was Death or Glory, which is the first track of disc 2.
Yeah.
And I go, did I misremember how bad this album is? Death or Glory is a fantastic song. Even better, it's a fantastic opening song.
Yeah.
You know, you can literally delete an album's worth of material off of this and have a better album if you just started with Death or Glory, and then Speed of Light can stay, even though they say it too many times.
I have a great idea. Instead of putting out this 91-minute album, single and B-side.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Death or Glory on the A side, and Speed of Light on the B side.
There you go. Done. Legacy saved.
Yeah, Death or Glory, it's not. Yeah, it's fast, short, and forgettable, but it's good. I mean, it's Tail Gunner Part 2, even though it's about a different war.
Yeah,
well, also,
I shoot the gunner first. I kill to quench my thirst. I hunt the weakest prey. Live to fly another day. Yeah, it's Tail Gunner Part 2. So it's Aces High Part 3.
Just remember Death or Glory when we get to the balloon song, because there's a story there.
Oh yeah, I know what story you're talking about.
This is the only Smith Dickinson song on here. No, Speed of Light is too. Never mind.
All right.
For those not on the Twatch, my name is currently Smith Dickinson, by the way.
All right. So then the next track, Shadows of the Valley, or also known as Wasted Years. They just jumbled up the notes in the intro to fool you into thinking this is Wasted Years. And then instead of like making a right into a memorable song, takes a left into meandering nothingness.
Yeah. I like to imagine
there's some Tim PTSD when he sings about the Sea of Madness in the fourth line.
Oh man, I missed that. I'm so happy that I
like to think they had a bunch of sheet music, and for some reason all the notes fell off of them, and then they were just trying to put them back together. Like, that's right.
So they had
in the context of this record, this song is okay, but it's still 2 to 3 minutes too long.
Yeah.
This is a top 3 song on this album.
Yeah, 7.5 minutes. I agree. Shave off a few minutes. I'm picturing. So you know those magnet tiles your aunt has on her fridge, and it's like
we have the same aunt, so definitely, yes.
You know, and it's like poems, and it's like that. Only they had Wasted Years with all the notes on it, and I don't know, someone bumped into it and it all fell, so they had to put it back. I think that's how it was. That's how I'm picturing it.
I think you're absolutely right.
Shadows of the Valley also has like annoying keyboard in it that doesn't belong, but nothing is as egregious as the intro to If Eternity Should Fail. So
yep,
I'll give it a pass. But if they rightfully deleted that song, this is the part where I'd be complaining about the keyboard.
Oh wait, I hate to go back, but did we talk about the fucking weird ass monkey lyric in Death or Glory? Because we can't pass that by.
You're right.
What is it?
Yeah, that it sticks out.
Yes.
I thought I was hearing things. I was like, that can't be what he said, right?
Yeah, turn like the devil,
no.
Shoot straight from the sun, climb like a monkey out of hell where I belong. Yeah. Yeah, they could have.
Is that supposed to resonate with anybody?
And again, this is the best song on the album.
This is a good song. This is the best song.
That's how low our bar is. Okay.
Speaking of low bars, Tears of a Clown.
If I search for monkey out of hell, there's nothing.
Like,
not even this song.
Does that imply that monkeys like have original sin and are liable to go to hell?
Then the Pope made it clear that animals have no souls.
Right, yeah. So how could they? I don't know.
Yes, good question. Okay, so well, but it's more of like an existential thing.
Yeah, that's for.
I think that's
for
beyond the
thought
scope of this
cast them down.
podcast, or this episode at least. All right, next song. I guess they didn't like Robin Williams because this next song is about Robin Williams. It's called "Tears of a Clown." Why would you insult him with such a shitty ass song?
Yeah. I heard that he didn't kill himself
terrible song
until he heard this song. I was looking forward to a Smokey Robinson cover and was woefully disappointed.
And it starts out so cheery, you know. It never like captures the sadness, you know,
or like the tears.
And
I think the name of the song it's so, well, to coin a phrase, clownish that it had no chance. And some of the music isn't bad, even the lyrics aren't terrible. It'd almost be better if we didn't know what it was about.
I would recommend, if you really want a great episode of cognitive dissonance, go onto YouTube. Search YouTube. Go onto YouTube. Search Iron Maiden Tears of a Clown, and you will see fan edits putting this song to a bunch of random Robin Williams movie clips. You will feel like you're on the tilt-a-whirl. It just does not work.
I'm not going to do that.
It's like you haven't heard the song until you've been seeing Patch Adams goofing around to it.
The genie, yeah.
All right, the next song is about Iron Maiden fans. It's called "The Man of Sorrows."
Yeah,
and it's someone who is listening to this album and made it this far.
Not to be confused with the Bruce Dickinson song "Man of Sorrows."
Yeah, no, this is the Man of Sorrows.
I don't know. That was my best line about it. They repeat stuff too much, you know.
It's just it's
an attempt at like a ballad.
Fourth track or something, track 5.
Yeah,
something like
track
maybe
4
it's
of the second
fine.
disc.
So it's track 9. No, it's track 10. It's just
it's like our third pseudo ballad on this record.
Yeah. Someone needs to be there to. So like Iron Maiden leaves the studio, right? And then you need a guy to go in. Kevin Shirley.
Delete everything.
Did Kevin Shirley produce this? I think he did. Yes, he did.
We haven't taken obligatory positions of the production.
Yeah, he needs to go in with a fucking hatchet and cut this song, cut 5 minutes out of this song. Like, they need to. I mean, it's no wonder they keep getting nominated and snubbed for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because you know everyone's like, oh, but such and such is such a great song. But like, how much of a disservice has Iron Maiden done to music since releasing the good songs?
They should be inducted into the Anti-Music Hall of Fame, and maybe they're just as liable.
Who else would you put?
Nothing came out in 2010 because this was the Metal Hammer album of the year. It was the Kerrang second best album of the year.
Yeah, it was a commercial success. It was like topped all the charts somehow.
I'm reading these, and it's just why.
It must have been a slow fucking year. It's because people see Iron Maiden, they put it on in the background, and they're not listening to it. It's existing around them, and they're probably like catching the good parts and then forgetting all the nothing that surrounds those good parts.
Like, if you just have it as background music and you hear the tempo changes and the lyrics that aren't all completely cartoonish, you you can confuse it for being mature Iron Maiden, but when you do the level of deep dive we have done, man, you see through this shit.
You do quickly.
Yes. And we've been seeing through it for how many albums straight now? Oh my god,
20.
All right, so the final song, we've made it all the way to the balloon song. Now, before you start, so apparently what happened was, this is credited solely to Bruce Dickinson. He locked himself in like the area of the studio where they had the Steinway grand piano, and he wrote the song. And as you listen to the song, besides just the intro, it's very obvious. But I'll let you address that. But the tidbit I had teased in the last episode was they didn't record on the studio's Steinway grand piano.
Oh, they did not.
They did not. They were recorded on like a Casio, so they could fix all of the mistakes. And I would wager there were still mistakes to fix.
Well, I would. I don't even know where to begin. I mean,
all right, go for it.
All right, just
wait.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Let me. Just take a breath.
There was some orchestration as well, so there's like violins and stuff.
Well, no, there's not orchestration. There are violins and synths. Okay, but we'll talk about.
Well, the guy credited with orchestration, his name is Jeff Bova.
Both of these nuts.
That's exactly what.
And you can't even call there's not even movements in the song. It just has sections, because each of these instrumental aspects is just taped together.
Well, it's even worse than that.
All right, go for it.
Okay. I don't. I'm.
You got to ramp up to it. You got to ramp up.
Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna start musically, because I'm gonna start with a compliment. There is contained in this 18-minute monstrosity about 4 minutes of fun music about biplanes fighting each other. It belongs. So Bruce Dickinson, while he's just like teetling away on the Steinway, was supposed to be writing a song apparently about Aces High Part 3. You know,
biplanes.
Death or glory, biplanes fighting each other in World War I.
Okay, and Death or Glory was originally about monkeys or something. So
yeah. And I guess at some point Bruce Dickinson like slipped and hit his head on the piano, and just decided, well, why don't we make a different song about biplanes fighting? Even though I will keep the biplane section in the song.
Okay.
Why don't I sing? You know what? You know who people love? Gordon Lightfoot. And you know what people really like is songs about people burning to death. So I'm going to write a song about one of, not the greatest, but a notable airship disaster. It is the worst airship disaster until the Hindenburg, which itself isn't the worst airship disaster. That was the USS Chester, I believe, in 1942. At the time, the R-101, which is the dirigible the song is about, was the biggest airship in the world until like 5 years later when the Hindenburg existed. So I don't understand. It's a disaster, yes. But this song meanders. There is no arrangement. There are instruments playing the lick, like they are all assisting. The piano line reminds me of like a fucking elementary school chorus where the accompanist has to play the line or the singers will be lost. It's like, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. That's not why you have a piano. A piano plays chords. It's an instrument designed to give you a voice and volume, just like a string section. If you're using, you need to build something with strings. If they're just going, that's not how you use. I mean, that's not how you use instrumentation.
You know, the
guitars, not how you arrange.
The guitars at some point during the 18 minutes also go.
Okay, so there's nothing in this song
it's
to
called
justify.
A motif.
There's nothing to justify 18 minutes here. There is, again, an interesting 4-minute section, instrumental, about biplanes. With some work, this could have been an Alexander the Great, Mother Russia type closing track that was instrumental. That was a great throwback. There is a portion of this song I really enjoy, but the construction of this song musically offends me is putting it too mildly. This is violence against the concept of music. Like, I literally had to wash out my ears the first time I heard this song and then like put on like Mahler 5 just to remind myself that there is beauty in the world and that people can write meaningful music. And it's just not like a yawning chasm of soullessness. Okay, there's many factual errors in this song. Now, it is true that the R101 was taller and wider than the Titanic, but the Titanic's longer. It is 100 feet longer. The Titanic could not fit in the R101, and even if it could, only 50 people, including the crew, can be on the R101. It's just a big thing full of hydrogen, and you know, okay, I guess it's a notable British airship disaster. I don't know why that's a thing that Bruce Dickinson's really obsessed about, except maybe, you know, I don't know, because his fucking biplane song wasn't working and he wanted to do da-da-da-da-da and he can't figure out how to do this like singy songy intro. Like, how does that work with biplanes? It doesn't. But tonally, okay, if music is supposed to evoke feelings and images, how does anything in this song evoke an airship gliding through the empire of clouds? How does it evoke a technical failure that leads to just it falling and crashing in a very short time? There's nothing. I had to research what this song was about because I had no idea. There's lots of strange nationalistic. Now, it's true that this was sort of seen as the flagship of a British airship service that the government was trying to sponsor, but
that didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
I'm just going to say it. There's nothing special about the R101. Even the things that are dramatically interesting, like every single person involved in the airship program dying on this, that happened when I think it was the Akron crashed too. Right. All the planners of the U.S. program died.
Yeah,
I mean, it happened with the Germans as well.
And compared to the Titanic, which at least got it over the fucking ocean, this airship was going to Pakistan, I guess British India at the time, Karachi, and didn't even make it barely over the channel. So again, it's like this is not triumph. This is not hubris. This is not man's downfall. This is just a shoddy program that we learned many times over in the ensuing 3 years that hydrogen's a bad idea. I mean, I feel sorry for the people that died in France, as he reminds us. But I feel like if I was the descendant of one of the victims, or survivors, because several people lived, but if I was a descendant of the people involved in this air crash, I would feel like this is vomiting on my loved ones' graves. If I would hate Bruce Dickinson more than the hydrogen that erupted, the mechanical failure that caused the airship to lose altitude and smolder into the ground. That is less egregious than this song.
Wow.
Well, and Bruce does not. Part of the problem with the lyrics is he's a pilot, and he's lost in the technical detail and the trivia stuff, which totally deflates anything that happens to the human beings. Like, you can do one or the other, but not both, even in 18 minutes.
What are you talking about? Listen, drum roll tight, her canvas skins silvered in the sun, which never tested with the fury, with the beating yet to come, the fury yet to come. And then later he said the coxswain, sir, she's heavy. She'll never make this flight. Said the captain, damn the cargo. We'll be on our way tonight. There you go. You've covered both the technical beauty of this thing and the folly of the crew.
Well, and he's really glossing over the fact that this was a shit design, and that's why it failed and burned over France.
It's like, and it had no.
Oh no, he blames the Grim Reaper. Go on.
It's like it's not. He's trying to make this a dramatic story, and I guess in 1930s dirigible lore, it is an example of some kind of like the Jerrys have a better dirigible than us. We better get moving, but it's not. It's an accident. I don't think it was caused by recklessness of the crew. They all seem to have been doing their best not to crash and die. So again, it's strangely awkward. There are too many.
But he does try to blame the crew, saying, it's overloaded." But
it's a shitty airframe. It was raining. It's bad weather. It's a shitty airframe.
There's a line in here that says that's what he said. I'm sorry. I don't care how that's delivered. When I'm reading that in the lyrics, I'm like, did I miss a joke? Storm is raging around you, 1,000,000 to 1. That's what he said.
Okay, Tim, I know you haven't done much research on the R101 disaster.
I have not.
Given the temper of the song, what do you think the estimated impact speed of the airship was when it hit the ground?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Just think about the song. Just think about what it sounds like. Those souls in the lost. How fast was it going?
I assume there was like a collision, but it's kind of like this big craft. So I'm going to go like 50, 60 miles an hour or not because it's an airship. Yeah, it's got to be coming in fast.
13 miles an hour.
10?
13.
Yeah, I feel like the Hindenburg is the only one of these that has been dramatic. I think the Chester, like that, just kind of
it was just
pancaked too.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's again. I'm not trying to say this is not a disaster. This is not a tragedy, but it's not a dynamic image. It's not something exploding in midair. It's just like
so. It should be a doom metal song.
Yeah, if it was
gonna write a doom metal song about the Akron, I think.
I mean, I'll be all about it.
This was the dirigible accident of 1930. That with that much,
Yeah.
you know, that even that might be a stretch, but I'm willing to commit to that.
And you know what? If this song came out in 1931, forgivable.
Well, and you know, and what he could have done, I think it was the Chester. You know, there's that thing in country western and folk music where you do the kind of the gimmick disaster songs. Yeah. That's what this should be.
Yeah.
The tragedy of the R101.
Yeah,
and it's 4 minutes.
It should. I mean, there's so many elements stolen from the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, right?
Yeah.
Just the musical interludes, the framing of the story, and there are so many elements that were just never removed from the biplane story. Like, how does the snare drum kind of like martial leitmotif that comes in like around, I don't know, minute 6 or whatever, has nothing to do with this. This is a civilian aircraft. I guess in a vague sense it was government funded, but this is not like any way, shape, or form like a military craft. It's just
right. It was not in the armed services, and it was not in civilian service.
It's like having a song about a Boeing 747. It's just like, well, we need a passenger liner. We got to get to India somehow. It's just like, fuck off.
All right.
And I like the old-fashioned way he says the 48 people that died, that to most listeners makes it sound like 80 some people died.
Yes.
8 and 40 souls.
8 and 40, yeah.
It's like, oh shit, 40. How many people is that?
Right, yeah.
Okay. Did you get it all out?
I mean, it's like one of these things where, like, you know, when you're really sick and you vomit, and you feel slightly relieved that you vomited, but you know the gribblies are still in there. Like, I don't have anything more to say about the Empire of the Clouds. Title makes no sense whatsoever, by the way. Should be Empire of the Ground, technically. But I feel like even though I will be haunted by this song for the remainder of my days, hopefully many, I never want to talk about it, listen to it, or even be reminded of it ever again.
Well, and just a point of trivia, and I was trying to dig this up, but I must have given it away when I moved. I put it in our chat, but the R101 was the subject of a reasonably well-known New Age book on life after death called The Airmen Who Would Not Die.
I mean, that sounds interesting. That's
also actually a better song title, too.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
It was also the setting of apparently a Doctor Who radio drama. I mean, there's lots of... This is not... Okay. This is not the fault of the men who built, flew, or perished. Well, okay. The disaster... Okay. Let me rephrase that. I do not blame the people responsible for or who perished in the R101 disaster for this disaster.
Okay.
They should rest in peace. But perhaps not the members of Iron Maiden. If they wander the earth, finding no solace among the living and the dead for eternity, I think that's okay.
Well, and have they ever played this live?
It was a single.
Yeah, but this just feels like stroking Bruce Dickinson's ego a little bit. And of course, it was going to be longer than the Red and the Black, because he wants the longest song credit over Steve Harris.
Oh yeah,
until their next album, I'm sure.
Oh, also
never been played live.
We should point out that this is the longest ever Iron Maiden song.
Real quick, Tears of a Clown has been played live as many times as Lost for Words.
Wow. I have a headache now. So they say this song is longer than Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, and I say, fuck you, who cares? It's like
Right. Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner is a song. It's not whatever the fuck this is, which is, to your point, 4 minutes of music and a bunch of unrelated pseudo music tacked on each side.
I'm so excited because I've just found on YouTube classical composer reacts to the Empire of Clouds, and I will be listening to this as soon as these mics are dead.
Okay. Let's throw a number on this album. I wanted to call it something else, but I didn't. Matt, you start.
Well, I'm going to say, in honor of all those brave 6 and 40 men who died, or 8 and 40 men, I think the only appropriate score would be a 2.
I would rather listen to the X Factor than listen to this. So I'm going to agree with 2, which is right between our scores for the X Factor and Virtual 11.
Yeah, it's a 2.
Wow.
No, I'll go 3.
3. Oh, well, it still works out to a 2.
There's 3 good songs. Unfortunately, that's like 8% of the record.
Yeah. Now, if this is a 60-minute record, if you got rid of, I agree, it would be higher if we weren't bombarded with garbage.
Yeah, like some of these albums you can literally just fix by cutting tracks. This one would still be bad if you did that, but if you start scooping out sections of songs, you could get to an okay record here. Unfortunately, it's way less than the sum of its parts.
The Book of Souls EP. And you know what? I honestly think that EP should have a few songs that we've mentioned, and it should also include Empire of the Clouds as a warning to anyone else with the hubris to attempt a crime against music. You know, we have to say its name. By ignoring it, we are complicit. Say its name. The Empire of the Clouds.
But it's true. As unpleasant as it is, it does need to exist.
Yeah. It does.
All right. Deep breath. So we can talk about Iron Maiden's 17th and final, at the time of recording, studio album, Senjutsu, which is loosely translated, according to Wikipedia, from Japanese as tactics and strategy.
I don't know where they get the and strategy. It just means tactics. I mean, it's pretty clear.
Released on September 3rd, 2021. Praised for its ambitious epic scope. Do you have a Wikipedia account? Because we're going to need a
we're gonna have
citation
to
needed on that. All right. So this cringy ass fucking cover is I don't even want to describe it. So it's Eddie wearing it's Eddie, but
Samurai Eddie.
It's Samurai Eddie, but he has like extra teeth.
Uh-huh.
And he's holding a katana that is partially obscuring the Iron Maiden logo, which appears to be like colored with blood or something.
Although the Iron Maiden weirdly, oh no, I guess it's not. I thought the one side of his horn was behind the N. Okay, it does appear that he's just standing in front of it. I thought the Iron Maiden was somehow weirdly floating
like between his samurai helmet and the Okay, so then along the left side, vertically,
here we go.
Is like it's a Asian-looking font that says Senjutsu.
For the record, so the shirt I'm wearing has Iron Maiden on the side. It has the little kanji here.
So it does have it in Japanese.
It does not have the racist Chinese restaurant font.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's
Well, and just like the last record and the X Factor, there's an alternate cover.
that's way better.
That's way better.
That is way better.
That is way better.
You know what? And I would say be daring. Just have the characters. Just have the kanji there.
Yeah,
That's
and if you
cool
zoom in
and
on his
edgy.
face, it doesn't. You don't notice the racist things; they're cut out.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a 1980s Chinese takeout menu that says chop suey on it. Like
It does. Yeah, it's not great.
Like, I think your shirt is a perfect example of why it's better without it. It's like infinitely better without it.
There's
Well,
no
and your
reason to
shirt-
have it.
What offends me the most about this, I hate to say, is what they've done to the Iron Maiden logo with that like printed metal.
You
shit
don't,
look.
you don't like the Battlestar Galactica revision series.
Oh, I kind of like it.
Yeah, with the bullet holes or yeah, no, your shirt gets it right. The real logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the alternate cover still has that font on it, but it's not
It does.
vertical, so at least there's that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's not great. Also, apparently in the alternate cover, he took his hat off, but I'm not, or is wearing a different hat. It's strange. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. He has like Krusty the Clown hair, kind of.
When the tray art is good. We should turn the blur off, but like there's
That's pretty cool.
good colors. Again, this is Mark Wilkinson, the Judas Priest artist again.
Yep, and how about? I mean, it's just like, how about you show something like happening instead of a bunch of nothing?
Yeah. I mean, we're so far away from the Somewhere in Time, just like rich, cover. This is just like, here's the concept art. All right, put it on the record. Well, this is just the concept. Put it on the record.
Yeah, we haven't had like a cohesive cover since A Matter of Life and Death.
I'm sorry. I just read something in Wikipedia that I enjoyed. Although it is not a concept album, Doom is a recurring theme throughout.
Yeah. So the previous one, Book of Souls, was also not a concept album, even though it looks like it should be one. And
Despite Mr.
and it also
Necropolis.
has like some theme, so okay. Track list. I unfortunately had to scroll down past all these bullshit awards this piece of crap won.
Yeah.
13 best prog album of 2021, according to Prog Magazine.
It's not prog.
you?
It's not prog. Stop calling this prog. Just because it's long doesn't mean it's prog. It means they
Damn, those keyboards.
They repeated a bunch of nothing too many goddamn times, and everyone's too fucking stupid to go to put a foot down and say,
Hey.
Iron Maiden isn't good anymore, because everyone's like, hey, you can't say that about this band. They deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I hope they never get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because what they've done to music since the 80s.
Tim,
I said it.
If they're not a prog band, how come they keep going up and down the scale in all these songs?
Doug,
Da-da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
it's your turn to lose your temper.
Yeah, that's
Here at the end of the fucking hardest series of episodes we've ever had to do. Okay.
I know. I feel like a fucking combat veteran.
Okay. First track is Senjutsu, the title track. Now, I was duped by the last album because it put disc 2. This is another 2-disc album, by the way.
Yeah.
Because my Walkman, because I didn't want to take the time to properly label everything on something I'm just going to delete off this fucking Walkman forever.
You're actually going to throw your Walkman away.
I wouldn't do that.
Throw it in the
No,
river.
there's so many Judas Priest albums on
Okay.
here. I won't need to.
Okay,
I
good,
just
good,
need
good.
to cleanse the output jack for a while. Anyway, with Judas Priest. So, and Metallica, except for Saint Anger and Lulu. we'll get to those. Anyway.
And some Hammerfall.
So I was fooled once again. I was like, oh, Senjutsu, is this going to be a good album? Because it starts off with like a song that feels like it's going somewhere. And
we all have that zombie memory of Brave New World being okay, so we'll forever buy the new records.
Exactly. And again, if you jumped ahead to this episode, Brave New World is not okay. It's merely fine. Except for the second half, which is trash. So, Senjutsu sounds like it's going somewhere, and it has like a great intro. And then over the 8.5 minutes of this song, because they showed some restraint, it never pays off, never goes anywhere, wanders. It's the same feeling like something's coming that never comes. And then once again, it's all downhill from there on the rest of the album.
And you know what? One thing that I particularly am frustrated with by this song is they have like, I guess they're not Kodo drums. They're like Nico playing the toms like they're Kodo drums.
Oh, those might be roto toms or rocket toms.
Yeah, whatever they are. But I feel like you could lean in. I feel trepidatious to say this. I feel like they could have leaned in on the Japanese elements. A band that was competent could have leaned in on the Japanese elements and made a really interesting song. But here, it's not enough. It's just like, well, we have a drum playing, and that's kind of Japanese-ish, kind of, maybe.
Well, this track is like one of the synth-heavy bridge songs on Nostradamus.
Okay.
Except it's 8 minutes long and it's track 1.
Yep.
And it's like because there's probably a lot of space between where a acceptable record could be and then The Last Samurai in terms of a certain idolization of certain perceived aspects of Japanese culture. But this is so incoherent, like you can't even accuse it of doing anything wrong. Like apart from the cover, like there's just nothing here.
Yeah, it's just, I just don't get it.
Now's a good time to. So there were 3 guitar solos in the song, at least. There's 3 guitar solo sections. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure whose tone it is, but one of them just doesn't work. It's like one's too dark and one's too bright, and they don't work together. Especially when the solos are back to back. Like, can we like pick similar to? I think it would be less jarring unless someone's ego is there. It's like I have to be different than so and so. I don't think the lead tone works.
But okay, I agree. There's systemic problems with the song.
Yeah. Oh, that's throughout this album, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
No. Also true. But I do think, unlike a certain album that I will never speak its name again,
Book of Souls
Senjutsu, and fuck off. Senjutsu and many of the songs on this album at least have a beginning, middle, and end that fit together. Maybe not well, maybe not enjoyably, but I still think there's some compositional achievement here that was not present in the last album.
Okay.
Yeah, I see that. I agree. Like, this song just inspires indifference.
Yeah. It's like
I wouldn't even skip it. It just
it's just like
plops on the ground and dies, and then you walk by, and feeling nothing, and that's fine.
There's been more and more of those.
It's a musical fern. Oh yeah, there's a fern in here.
All right, well, the next track, many reviews I've read, they point to this as like the good song on the album. I want to know what's wrong with my version, because Stratego is a terrible song. How does anyone like this? It's also the second shortest song, so maybe that's it.
But yeah, also Senjutsu means strategy
and tactics.
And tactics. And then Stratego, I mean, isn't this just the same song? I don't know which one we should put on. Put them on both.
Well, and the lyrics don't seem to have anything to do with strategy, unless I can't read.
Ocean is black, the devil's track, looking beyond beneath the sea. Eye of the storm is here again, been there before you were ever born. Obviously, that's about strategy.
It's very clearly about strategy.
So, what about all that extra stuff we wrote for the talisman? Yeah.
All right, yeah, we'll add it in here. Only if we can call it Stratego, though. No, actually, this is the inner monologue of Mr. Necropolis, and that just got all stripped away.
All right, next, the writing on the wall.
All right, I'm going to get it for this. I actually like this song.
Okay, again, I feel like I maybe have some kind of like psychological damage, but I also heard this like nice like rockabilly country inspired guitar tone, and it was like,
some
hey,
Western swing.
About fucking time.
So this was the single. Was it the single or one of the singles? But it has, I think this is the one they released the animated music video for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the single cover is like, I don't know, it looks like some obscure comic book character who stole a motorcycle and drove it precariously close to the edge of a cliff. So, which has nothing to do with writings or walls.
My mind.
Yeah, and there's very little writing on the wall in the song.
And I have to say, I love the line, "Have you seen that writing?" Like this kind of folksy reference to, All
right, so the music video for this, I don't know, we haven't really been covering too many music videos, but it's a story written by Dickinson, inspired by the biblical stories of Belshazzar's feast and Daniel, as well as other biblical references. So as we discussed on our last episode, we never did answer the question, is Iron Maiden secret Christians? No, they're very obvious about it.
Yeah. So. Also, I don't want to steal Doug's line, but maybe I can't read, but this is not anything to do with Belshazzar's feast and the Book of Daniel.
Yeah, so I guess it's just the video. I guess it's just the video.
Yeah, this is just some Book of Revelation imagery, the stuff everyone knows. And what's the, I forgive my ignorance, the writing on the wall, where does that fit in the story? That's not in Revelation, right?
No, I think that's just like I don't even know phrase origin.
It's a biblical thing.
Okay. A phrase recalling the writing. Okay. In Daniel 5, during a feast held by King Belshazzar, a hand suddenly appears and writes the following Aramaic words: Mane mane tekel upsarshin. Numbered, weighted are they divided. Daniel interprets the words as pointing to the downfall of the Babylonian Empire.
And then I believe Daniel said, have you seen the writing on the wall? Have you seen that writing? Can you see the riders on the storm? Can you see them riding? Can you see them riding next to you?
See, the song should open with Mr. Necropolis reading that out.
Have you seen the writing on the wall? Perfect. All right. track 4 of disc 1, Stranger in a Strange Land. Oh, sorry. Lost in a Lost World.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A shorter song on this record at 9 minutes, 31 seconds.
Uh-huh.
I got
my notes say too long, plotting, boring, and that's being kind.
Yep, solely written by Steve Harris, and unfortunately, he has credits on about half the album.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that Steve Harris has more songwriting credits here than in any other Iron Maiden album.
And Dave Murray has 0 writing credits on this whole album.
Or as I call him, the Lion of England.
Well, I've read these lyrics again and again and again, and they don't seem to be about Land of the Lost, so I don't care.
Maybe it's about that second Jurassic Park movie, Lost World.
Oh, maybe. That could be.
Will we ever heal our old wounds? Maybe that's about like the fences going down.
Oh, yeah. Or like when they ate the guy who's Robert Bacher.
Nowhere to go, nowhere to run. Our whole nation overrun. Yeah, it's just the lost world.
Yep. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just long. I totally agree. But anything I say is just going to be repeating you. All right, next one. Days of Future Past.
Pretty good X-Men comic.
And a decent song. I like this song.
This is not a bad song.
It's a 4-minute song. So
and it's got evocative lyrics and the cheesy good chorus. Yeah. A+.
I do something I enjoy. I'm not going to give it an A+, but I do something I enjoy about this album in general is that like they have like thematic groupings. So like Senjutsu, which means strategy and tactics, and Stratego are back to back.
Strategy und e-tactics.
And then Days of Future Past and The Time Machine, two, I guess, nominally time-themed songs, also back to back. I guess that's how you got to the future's past, perhaps?
I'd give Days of Future Past a C-. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's a B.
It's not.
Yeah.
Bad. It's just not good.
It's not.
Well,
great.
It would fit fine.
If we were grading, Doug's grading on a curve. That's what's happening here. This is the best song, so it got pushed up to an A.
Well,
this is not.
That's
Leave
how
No
If
Child
Eternity
Behind
Should Fail was the best opener in 25 years or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. I can see how you came around to that. But if you took the curve away, it'd be a C-. I took a physics class once where I got a 33% in the class, and it was a B. Think about that. I got 2 out of every 3 questions wrong, and I got a B. That is the intense curve that Iron Maiden seems to be working with.
That sounds.
By the way, I changed my major right after that class. All right, Time Machine. The Time Machine.
Time Machine.
Time Machine.
As much as I love the line, "Have I ever told you about my time machine?" The song sucks.
It does. How many times do they say that? Only once, unfortunately.
It's not even about the time machine. There's no Morlocks, or whatever they were.
Morlocks, please.
What? Like it's not about using the time machine? What is it about?
No. There's not even an H.G. Wells reference around. Put to the sword by an impish whim. Follow me now to a place we begin. What is this? I don't know.
It's
what
not even based on the George Powell version. That would have been fine too.
Yeah.
Okay, so that song is 7 minutes. It's again. I was just like, okay. It's there. It's once again going back to your apathy. You know, it's there. Whatever. Walk on by it. So that ends the first disc of this album, clocking in at 40 minutes. So that's album length.
Yeah.
That ends the first album.
Yeah. So
Now let's move on to album 2.
On to the next album. Okay, so Darkest Hour is the first track of disc 2. It starts with I don't understand. So it starts with like seascape noises.
Because you're gonna fight them on the beaches.
But here's my problem. They're way too loud. So it doesn't give you a like feeling like it doesn't like instill a theme or a setting in your mind. It's just, man, those waves are loud. I've never heard waves that loud before. And this gull is too fucking close to my ears. And then they don't fade it out well. It just disappears.
It just flick down the fader.
You know, it's
I acknowledge I may be emotionally compromised at this point, but I thought it was pretty good. I really liked that.
It's like some of my soundboard things where I intentionally cut it off early. Yeah, like
could it be shtick?
And then at the end, I think the sound comes back and it happens fast. It's not like calming or introspective, you know, because the last lines of the song are before the dawn, the darkest hour, before the dawn, the darkest hour.
Now, Tim, I would like to take issue with the fact that he said it comes back at the end. It does not. It comes back for the last 35 seconds of the song.
That's right. That's right. So they had more of this. They could have faded it out well. But like, no, they just hit the channel.
We didn't take the DAT recorder to Brighton just to not play all these seagull noises we recorded.
Okay.
Yep.
Other than that, like,
wait, hold on.
Other than that, in the song, it's just like it's another attempt at a ballad. It feels like
it's Churchillian, right, Matt?
Yeah, you are not appreciating that this is another Steve Harris song based on the movie he just saw.
Oh, what is it?
This is The Darkest Hour. This is a movie about Winston Churchill that came out in 2017, starring Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill. This is literally just no different than The Quest for Fire, just 40 years later.
Yeah, so once again, it goes on too long with not enough stuff going on, but you know, it's not that bad in the grand scheme of this album.
So Matt, we came back because one man said, "Now on the beaches the blood runs red." Is that meant to be returning the Dunkirk and then Overlord?
It's got to be.
It sounds more MacArthur-ish.
Well, I just don't think that the lyrics are very well done. I mean,
they don't convey any sense of a big narrative or even a sense of time or place. So yes,
it's just like a vague sense of, oh yeah, there's Churchill, and you know, there's some like reap the whirlwind phrases. There's the notion of the beaches, like defending Albion, but it's not very well done. Like Barbarians at the Gates, that doesn't make any sense. That's not what this is.
This was not written by Steve Harris.
It wasn't?
Smith and Dickinson.
Oh no, I guess they got Steve Harris disease.
Yeah, well, yeah, like I said for Book of Souls, I think they've been hanging out with Steve Harris, and they don't know how to write songs anymore.
What you do is you just write a song about a movie you like.
I can't wait to write my song called Kung Pao. I'm going to use the same font.
The last ever RGB album. Can you cancel a band no one's ever heard of?
Okay. So then.
Oh, God.
Then, if you've made it this far, you're in for the longest half hour, 35 minutes of your life with the harassing. The last 3 tracks of Senjutsu. Death of the Celts, the Parchment, and Hell on Earth. Okay, so Death of the Celts.
AKA the Klansmen, too.
Starts
You
with...
might as well just have called it that.
Yeah.
starts with an acoustic guitar, like a clean guitar. But Steve Harris wasn't going to let that go. He's going to play the same damn line on the bass and turn it up too loud so you know he's there. Do one or the other. You didn't need to do both.
They can't hear the bass. What is this song about? And don't say the death of the Celts.
I don't know.
William
A warrior
Wallace.
Celt has no fear. Immortal, he will live forevermore.
But he died. He's clearly not if he's dead.
I don't know.
This song is about the last section of the last song.
This song is actually about the Irish sitting out the Second World War.
That's why Bruce Dickinson wouldn't write anything about it.
Yeah,
planes
exactly.
involved.
Planes on the ground being repaired, not gonna fly at all.
I don't have too much to say about this other than it's typical bad Steve Harris songwriting.
Yep.
Speaking of typical bad Steve Harris songwriting, the next song is called The Parchment, which is about some sort of parchment.
The sacred parchment?
It's basically the same song. It starts off with an acoustic guitar, but this time it hasn't been doubled by the bass.
I believe it's about ancient Iran.
Both of these songs have keyboards that don't fit, that are just right in the beginning.
I acknowledge again, I'm compromised at this point, but I actually like this song because it sounds like Rise of the Triad, like it sounds like music to some shitty early 90s video game.
Okay, it does, yeah.
I was really grooving, and
this is on the Wolfenstein 3D soundtrack.
No, you are compromised. This song has like a riff. So Steve Harris tried something here. He goes, "Okay, I've repeated a riff too many times, and like people are starting to complain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it down a string." So he goes,
"That'll fool him,"
and it does your scale melodic run. It goes ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-do-do-do, ba-da-da-da-da-da-do-do-do. Then he goes down a fourth. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-do-do, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-do. Now he's doubled the length of the thing he's going to repeat too much. And
works like
magic. That riff keeps coming back throughout the song. And it's like he found a new way to make a song tedious and aggravating.
You're not wrong.
All I know is if I needed to get through episode 2, level 1 of some 90s first-person shooter, I wouldn't mind hearing this for 12 minutes.
But you know, that is the kind of thing you would do in a 90s video game soundtrack to make the track last a little longer.
Wait a minute.
Save bandwidth.
Save those bits.
Didn't you say not a concept album? Doom is a recurring theme throughout. Maybe that should be capital D Doom.
Oh, yeah. That's
plasma rifle.
Wait, that's the exact musical effect you're talking about. It's we've cracked the code.
All right, and then there are too many guitar solos, and they're uninteresting, and I don't know why everyone needs to take one.
Shitty guitar tone that I love.
It's not so much to me that it's the tone isn't good, which it's not. It's that there's multiple bad guitar tones, and they don't they don't
Mesh.
fit well with each other. So it's just like, here's a bad guitar tone. And if they just stuck with that, it would be fine. But here's a different bad guitar tone. Just so you know, you're listening to some other bloke.
So you think after 21 years, there might be some coordination? Nah.
And there's nothing wrong with dissonance if it's done purposefully, if it has like musical necessity, but no.
Yeah, like the Final Frontier and all those guitar solos.
Yeah, now that's a fucking great album. But let's bump it up to a 9.
No. All right. So then, finally, we're at the end. The last song. Appropriately titled Hell on Earth, which probably should have been the opener.
Should have been the name of the album.
And the first line of the song is beginning of a sunrise bores a big hole in the sky. Just like this album bores a hole. I was going to make a pun about being
this is classic
boring.
Steve Harris. This is how I see the state of the world lyrics. And then he makes that go for 11 minutes somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least
Count
it's
your
not Dave
blessings while you're still
Mustaine's
alive,
worldview.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about it's.
Listen to how beaten down we are.
It's just I don't know.
It just exists and then it dies in front of you.
Yeah,
and you walk by and move on.
You know what? For some reason, I think I'm the survivor of trauma because I really liked this album when I heard it, but I really think it's just because I knew it was the last one I had to listen to.
In a very juvenile, sad sense, it captures the bloated cinematic sound they've sort of been chasing for a while, the best of their 6 recent records.
Like it's the best, it's the culmination, or I guess it's the best encapsulation of their dumb ideas.
I think, yes, that's a good way of saying it.
They've done that shitty thing they wanted to do correctly.
Maybe they can stop.
They should have just they'd put Empire of the Clouds on here and gotten more cheesy atmospherics in that abomination. It really captured what's in Bruce's head.
All right, let's throw a number on here. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Well, it is better than the Balloon album. So 4, 3, 4. I don't care.
It's a 1.
It's a 1?
It's a
Wait,
1.
hold on.
It's bad.
You're saying it's worse than the Book of Souls?
I'm saying Iron Maiden shouldn't get away with it. Did you forget we just talked about 3 meandering, pointless, meaningless Steve Harris compositions in a row that take up 75% of one of the discs of this album? This is a worse offender than the Book of Souls, which had Bruce Dickinson shitting all over the second disc. This has Steve Harris unchecked, repeatedly shitting on the album. It needs to be punished. It's a 1.
So they're 2 good songs, and one of them's more of a novelty song. And then there's the Parchment, whatever the fuck that is.
I don't know.
That's the one where it goes.
Yeah, I know. I like that song. It's a 2.
Oh, all right. Well, Doug's all right.
What did Book of Souls end at?
2.
It's a 3.
It's a 3. See, thank you.
Yeah, but I gave it a 1.
So it's a 2.
And Doug is admittedly compromised, so I think we should round down. So I think it's a 2.
But I'm not compromised. Oh wait, I think earlier, just mere moments ago, I talked about how I was compromised.
I'm the only one with the clear, objective mind here.
Noggin.
So maybe it is a 1. Maybe it should be a 1, and I was right all along. But
Tim, have you seen that writing on the wall?
On the wall,
seen that writing?
Seen that writing
on the wall.
I'll give it a 2. So The
Okay.
only
All right.
worse album than Book of Souls and Senjutsu is Virtual 11, according to our ranking. All right, does that sound right?
I mean, that
Yeah.
sounds right, but I might have to invent the time machine and tell myself that I have a lot farther to go than Virtual 11. If I could go back to early to mid-May and tell myself the journey I've been on, I don't think I would believe myself.
Have I ever told you about my time machine, Matt?
Your time machine.
All right, so what did we learn? Let's wrap this up. What did we learn about Iron Maiden? I learned that I thought I hated the Paul Di'Anno albums, but it turns out I hate the Bruce Dickinson albums. There are far more lower scores for Bruce Dickinson albums than there are for Paul Di'Anno albums, and I still think Power Slave's the best one by far.
Oh, well, there's one minor trivia.
Oh yeah, go for it.
In the Senjutsu thank yous, Steve Harris has a personal thank you to Blaze Bayley.
Oh, that's nice of him.
So I don't know if it's like his therapist said he finally needed to let go.
I learned. So we have been doing this for so long that the beginning of this series has already been aired, and I was listening to it earlier today, between some rage about the balloon song, and we've already promised that next May we're doing Maiden live and reviewing all the live albums, and I hate us forever even contemplating that.
No, I think it was clear that was a joke because we're gonna do Manowar.
Okay, Manowar. Thank God, a band with integrity.
Or Megadeth. We already
Megadeth.
We already came up with plenty of better alternate ideas.
Yeah.
See, we wanted to do this to take it to the band's annoying fans and the annoying band, and then we took it.
We did.
We got it all.
We're like Christ on the cross. We have taken all of your sin and taken all of your faults and put them on our own backs.
Of God, if you want to know what we've gone through.
Yeah.
Amazingly, I think this is the longest episode.
Oh yeah,
we talked about the longest albums.
Yeah, I mean it's fitting. I can't wait for Tearvember when we go through all the Tear albums and Septemberthon or whatever.
I do think we ended up with an interesting narrative about the last 6 records that nobody else is saying.
And you know what? Also, we should credit ourselves because there are a lot of people who might think they should just listen to every Iron Maiden album. And we, for posterity, have proven that isn't a bad idea.
Yep.
Yep.
And when you lose your faculties, The Final Frontier, it's really good.
Yeah,
check it out.
It's a great album and song.
Let me investigate that claim.
I like to imagine that there was a horrible bus crash.
Our final rating on this is how long it's been since we got a highly rated album. That rating for Final Frontier was 5.5, which is lower than Seventh Son, Somewhere in Time, Power Slave, Peace of Mind, Number of the Beast, and Killers, and Iron Maiden, and Brave New World, and Matter of Life and Death. It is way down there. It's
a slide out. I mean,
Final Frontier is their 10th best album according to our ratings.
That sounds right to me. I mean, I think that's correct. I mean, once again, we have proven the power of our keen objective rating system. Final Frontier is the 10th best Iron Maiden album. It's also the best Iron Maiden album to come out in 25 years. So noodle that. Noodle that through.
Yeah, the classic opening song pair.
All right, so what do our listeners have to look forward to in June? I can't wait to talk about Star Trek for a change.
Yeah, we're get ready for a taste of Armageddon. It's a great episode.
On top of the one you've just gotten.
Obviously on top of the one you just gotten. We're going to talk about, hey, Tim, you been to any concerts recently?
Yes, I have.
Oh, maybe we could talk about that. Then.
Sounds good to me.
Perhaps.
All right. And then we have a ton of metal promo reviews. We do.
We have a radio play for our patrons that you're going to enjoy.
And if you loved Iron Maiden, this whole Iron Maiden thing, also on Patreon. Through the rest of June, I believe we're going to be looking at Iron Maiden music videos. So.
Yeah, I feel like
the party doesn't have to end.
It might not land until July, but the Avatar retrospective.
Oh yeah,
thank
you.
Water that is coming soon.
I'm sick
the
that
Avatar.
I'll find a substitute.
It's a diptych because we have to first review Avatar 1. Then we're going to review The Way of Water, and then we're going to have our predictions for Avatar 3 somewhere out in space.
Now, Avatar 1 can fit in the R101.
Oh, yeah. No. Well, it can height and draft, but not length.
All right. Well, let's get the fuck out of here. All right. Thanks for joining us on Iron Maiden 2023. Until next time, Metal Nation, do not look to Steve Harris for songwriting tips because you're going to have a bad time.
Cast them down.
I think the living would envy the dead.
Don't look into the eyes of a stranger.